a squall. This ought to last like 20 minutes is what they say. So hey guys, how you doing? Got a new package today. Apparently I tagged a couple of things in my Instagram, and ProPartsDirect.net was running a little contest. It's their Brag for Swag contest, and basically during winter cleanups of your snowfall, you just had to post something on your Instagram and tag ProPartsDirect.net with the hashtags Brag for Swag, and I won. How about that, huh? Mowers and blowers, thanks for participating in our Instagram giveaway. We appreciate your loyalty to Pro Parts and your YouTube videos. Yeah. Let's see what they sent me. Nice new ProPartsDirect.net hat. The Lawn Care Professional's Choice for Parts. Nice hat. Ooh! Tarot Fixes All card. Tarot Fixes All koozie. A couple of Pro Parts Direct neck lanyards. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I love this stuff. A Toro t-shirt. Toro, nice. I love Toro products. Ooh. Another Toro company t-shirt. Nice. Very cool, very cool. So you see guys, you're not going to get swag unless you enter the contests. Follow the directions. Hashtag Brag for Swag. Thank you to ProPartsDirect.net. The Lawn Care Professional's Choice for Parts. Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry from Mowers and Blowers again. It's a nice balmy 45 degrees today in Long Island, New York. It's been a cold freeze for the past week or so, so it's difficult to work, you know. So I don't have anything else to fix. It's been kind of dry. No lawn mowers, no good deals on snow blowers. At least the Mowers and Blowers deals, you know, where it's practically free. Yeah, so, you know, I don't like to spend a lot of money because that cuts down on my profit margin, you know. But anyway, so since today was kind of a nice warmer day than normal, I figured I'd work on one outstanding item that I have. This is the only thing in my entire inventory that isn't fixed, you know. So this is a Dyt4000. This Dyt is a yard tractor. A yard tractor is a little bit better, heavier duty than a lawn tractor, but not quite as good as a garden tractor. So a big thumbs up to Griffin Lawn Service for this wonderful jacket. I'm going to be wearing it on my videos. As you guys know, or maybe you guys have known, that if you follow my YouTube channel, you'll know that me and Pete Lombardi went and picked this up a few months ago. I got it for free. The complaint was the guy was giving it away for free because the Kohler 25 horsepower vtwin engine here, apparently both rods are shot. All that happens with this surprised that the battery still works great. It's a good battery, brand new almost, you know. And all it does is spin. Doesn't do anything else. Spins freely. So why is that good news? Well, because it spins freely like that, it means that if both connecting rods were broken, right, they broke, whereas they're not touching, the brake area is not touching anything, so while it's spinning around, it's not destroying the entire insides by sloshing the thing all over the insides and crushing all the parts, you know? So I'm hoping that that's it. But just to make 100% sure, I'm going to remove the spark plugs on both sides. One here, one on the other side. And I'm going to stick a screwdriver inside and use my hand and turn the flywheel to see if that screwdriver moves. If the screwdriver moves, right, it means that at least that connecting rod is still attached, therefore it's not busted. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side just to see whether or not both connecting rods are broken. Here's a little clip of how we got this lawn tractor, or yard tractor, a couple of months ago. We've got this stuff set up here. I'm going to be using my winch for the very first time, and so we've got this hooked up. It's a Dyt4000. It's got a Kohler vtwin. He says it's seized. It's got the triple bagger on it. Let's see if maybe this. We're going to take this bagger off and then try to get it on there. Let's see. All right, so we just got this Dyt4000 in here. Hey, Pete, what's so special about the Dyt4000? Why is it so damn heavy?
Because it's got a big ass 25 horse engine.
Yeah.
It's got big ass tires, a big ass deck.
Yeah.
48-inch deck, and it's got a 3-bin bagger.
So that's it. That's how we got this thing, completely free. It was kind of a far drive, but no big deal. I had Pete Lombardi come and help me, you know. It's a wonderful tractor. You can tell it's heavy duty, you know, with the mowing deck being in almost new condition. This whole thing is pretty much new. Even the tires has these prickly things on it. Even has the sticker still on the back here. So this is a brand new tire. Everything else is in perfect condition, really. And all I need to get this tractor running, because I save tractors too, is to get this engine running. I mean, I'm hoping that the destruction from the broken connecting rods wasn't so bad that I can just simply replace the connecting rods and then I'll have a nice V-twin engine. Thing is, though, I've watched videos on how to repair the V-twins on the Kohler. It's a lot of stuff in the front to remove. A lot of springs, holes, levers, stuff like that that's difficult to take apart and put back together again. It's cumbersome, you know? But if I do this test and I figure out that both connecting rods are gone, right, and the screwdriver doesn't move in and out, that side or this side, means that both connecting rods are gone. I don't think it's that difficult to do. Basically just remove the 4 engine bolts, take the engine off, flip it upside down, right, and basically take the sump part off so that you can see the entire innards of the engine. And that way we can kind of triage and gauge exactly what's broken, is it repairable, or do I just need a new engine and I'll just part this up on eBay for money, you know. Number one, what we're going to do is I'm going to remove this hood, because this hood is going to be in the way of while we're working. So all we need to do is just disconnect the headlight wire here. And with most lawn tractors, it should be a tilt and pull up. I'm going to give it a try. There it is. They actually make it pretty easy for you to remove the hood, you know. So I'm going to give you a better look at it now. The camera off the tripod and the audio a lot more clearer since I'm right here. Alright, so just looking at it, this is cause for some concern. What this is just dust and oil buildup here. Why here and here, but nowhere else? Isn't that interesting, right? There's only this stuff here and on the valve covers, but not really anywhere else on the engine. I guess we got some here where the oil filter is. So you can see here's the fuel filter. And if you look at the fuel gauge, it's a half a tank of gas. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is take the spark plug out. So I just took the spark plug out, and very surprisingly, this spark plug is actually the 5/8 kind, not the bigger kind, you know. And looking at it, it doesn't look bad at all. I'm going to see if it has spark. I'm going to lock the brakes so I can just turn it. So I can just turn it and see. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'll figure it out. Let's see if it has spark. There we go. So I've stuck a screwdriver in there, and I'm just going to use my hand and turn this. See if the screwdriver moves at all. Doesn't move at all. So it didn't move at all, and now I'm going to test this one. Now this one's a little more oilier than the other one. Plug still looks okay though. I'm going to stick the screwdriver in there now. Or actually I'm going to test for spark. I mean, it should have spark because it had spark on the other one. But not sure whether or not that wire is, you know, are they separate wires, or are they... Can't really tell because of the way this is, you know. Maybe like that. So we got spark for both spark plugs. Now I'm going to stick the screwdriver in the hole. So I had to use two hands to turn it, and so I couldn't film, but it didn't move at all. So what is that telling me, guys? It's telling me that both connecting rods are definitely blown, which means that I have to remove this cable here, that is the power to the solenoid to the starter. This one here, which is I believe the ground to the solenoid to the starter, or the trigger. That's what it is. That's the trigger. 4 main engine bolts. This wiring harness over here. Throttle cable, right? The fuel lines and the vent hose for the fuel pump. The wiring to the voltage regulators can stay put, and I think that's basically it. You know, it's really not a whole lot to just take the engine off and flip it upside down. But this is a big engine, you know, and I might have difficulty flipping it by myself. Also, I'd probably have to drain the oil, which is a shame because guess what? The oil is really good. Really clean. You don't see any metal fibers and shards on there at all either. It's just surprising. But gotta do what you gotta do, you know. So I'll probably get started on doing all that. So I just disconnected the harness as well as that red wire there. Next thing I'm going to do is take this air cleaner cover off so I can have access to the choke and the throttle cable assemblies so I can loosen them and take them off. Just for shits and giggles, I'm going to take the air cleaner off too just so I can check it out. It's really dirty though. I kind of tapped out the air cleaner a little bit from put all the dust in there, and put it back on just so nothing else falls into the carburetor while I'm taking the engine off. So now I'm going to take disconnect the throttle cable. First I'm going to mark it so that I know where to put it on later. Know what I mean? So now I know that it's going to be in between those two orange marks. I'm going to do the same thing with the choke cable. Just mark it up so I'll know about where it goes. I'm going to remove this heat shield because it's actually blocking the muffler. So if the engine's coming off, the muffler has to come off. There we go. And the muffkin just dropped. It was easy. So here we can see the throttle assembly pretty well. Torque screws to loosen that up and remove the choke and throttle cable. Also marked which hole that went into. Okay, so now both throttle and choke lever cables are gone. Let's see here. I'm going to disconnect the fuel line from here, clamp that off, and disconnect the power from the battery. This line's busted, so I'm going to just cut it. I'm not left-handed, no strength. There we go. Disconnect the power to the solenoid. It's in pretty good shape. Put the nut back on here so I know I won't lose it. And looks like everything is disconnected except for the engine bolts. That's the toughest part. Just by looking, you got one there, two on the other side. It was really difficult to get the right attachments on a 9/16 bolt, and then I had to try to fit a breaker bar in there too because it was on there really well, but got it out. So that's one, 3 more to go. This one over here is in a bad spot. I don't know if I can get it out without lifting the tractor and crawling underneath. Two. Three. Numero cuatro. Successful. Now I know that this is a electronic PTO, which means it could be a pain in the balls. Alright, well, engine's loose from the frame, but that electronic PTO I believe the only way I'm going to get that off, because that electronic PTO is not going to fit through the hole in the frame for sure. So I think I'm going to have to take the electronic PTO off, or take the crankshaft bolt off there and yank the whole thing out that way. But usually they're very difficult to take off. I'm thinking for me to even get that crankshaft bolt off, I'm going to need an impact, because when you take a wrench and turn it, the engine moves with it. And since there's no connecting rods on there, you can't really stop it from moving. You know what I mean? So I'm going to have to use an impact. The only way to do that is jack this whole thing up in the front. But then the deck is in the way, so I can't get the impact on there. So guess what? I'm going to have to remove the damn deck. That's right. Hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? Yeah, it's a pain, but you got to do what you got to do. Remove the front part. Man, that's tough. And this side wasn't too bad. Cotter pin here. Cotter pin here. Front one. Now the other side. Here's the front. Cotter pin right out of there. That wasn't too bad. Well, that was a pain. I basically had to lift the entire thing off of here because all that stuff was getting caught underneath, you know. But, you know, there it is. The deck's in good shape, really good shape. And it was only 2 connections here in the front, right? One for that one for this one, and one here. 1, 2, 3, 5 cotter pins. That's all it was. But you had to lift the whole thing over to get it out because it's such a big deck with 1, 2, 3, 4 anti-scalping wheels. Those 4 corners with its posts get caught underneath because there's not much room in there to maneuver, you know. So alright, so now we got the deck off. I'm gonna have to jack this up somehow high enough so that I could get I can get to the crankshaft bolt and remove the electronic PTO clutch. Moved it back into my garage a little bit. A 2x4 for those 2 points there. Jacked it up and placed 2 jack stands underneath. I hope that's high enough for me to get my impact in there. It should be. You see how that goes? The drive belt's still attached to it. Can't get that off without moving the electronic PTO. Or I'll just take the bolt off and hopefully the engine will just slide right off and this will stay still. So I got my impact ready. It's a 5/8. I'm try to do this with my left hand while holding the camera for you. There we go. Oh yeah. Just as I expected. PTO came right off. Here's the pulley. The drive's still on there. Drive belt. PTO pulley. Sure hope I remember how that came off, you know. And I just lifted the engine off. How about that, huh? Pretty cool. I'm gonna go find some kind of a crate so I can put this on. Got this little plastic stool I've had for a while. Crap, that didn't work. So now I've got an old stool that I have. I never use it. Drilled about 1.5 inch hole. Should be able to fit that, hopefully. How about that, huh? Fits absolutely perfectly right on there. Just got to remember not to bump into it, you know? Alright. Removal of the engine. Pretty cool. Of course, I'm going to make a mess, as usual, while draining the oil. This oil is pretty good. It looks like it's synthetic, though, which is good. loosen this to give it some more airflow. Doesn't seem to make much difference though. It's coming out pretty slow, which is good. It's nice thick oil. It's taking like forever for this thing to stop, you know. I'm going to stop it pretty soon. In the meantime, while I'm waiting, I'm going to start clearing out that stuff into a bag. I'm going to blow out the rest later. For now, I'm going to recap this. And apparently you just push it in and turn it one click clockwise. Put the cap back on. And that's it. Ugh. So I took the engine off and flipped it upside down, and I know for a fact that it's dicked. You know why? Because I heard crumbling metal noises dropping down. So I know those are pieces of the connecting rod. So now I'm just going to use my impact, because I tried to use the smaller impact and it wouldn't even budge the bolts. So I'm using the more powerful one. This electric impact, it's a 1/2 inch. It was only $40. Harbor Freight Tools. You guys that follow my channel pretty closely know that I use this a lot. That just stripped, I think. That feels stripped too, son of a bitch. I'm gonna have to find another one. This one's stripped. Damn it. Just when you think everything's gonna go smooth, it doesn't. I got another 10mm socket, and I was careful this time, and it looks like I got them all out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sump bolts. Alright? 10 sump bolts to get that out. Here we go. Check it out. That was relatively easy, actually. Wow. The destruction! The destruction, boys! Oh man, what excitement. I'm gonna have to take you off the tripod so you can check this out a little bit clearer. And there you go. The carnage. You know, it's what I expected. Just preliminarily looking, there doesn't seem to be much damage around it. It just seems like it's just the destruction of the connecting rods is all. Just looking at the other components here. Crankshaft gears. They're not worn. Looking at the housing of the engine block, doesn't look to be, I mean, there's some small chips and stuff, right? That's okay. Yep. Looks like I can probably, I mean, just from looking right now, looks like I can probably save this engine by just getting 2 new connecting rods for this. I'm going to try to fish a lot of that stuff out, and we'll see. Okay, fellas, my phone's about to die. So if you take a closer look here, that's okay, right? For that cylinder. Now I'm going to move over to this cylinder over here. Check that out. That's dicked. That's not going to work. It's trash. So, as you can see, that connecting rod is busted right there. But unfortunately, that bore area there is missing a big chunk where the cam shaft is. You see that? And even if I did get this running, it wouldn't last. This side is okay. That side's dicked. So I guess that makes my decision pretty easy, is that I can't save this engine, so I'm just gonna take it apart, part it out. Also, if you take a look real quick here before my battery runs out, the oil pump gear is messed up too. Governor gear is okay. So I can sell some parts, but you know, this block over here is dicked. Not with that big part missing there, you know. Well, at least we found out, right? And disassembled this 25 horsepower vtwin Kohler. Too bad, it's a nice engine, you know. So it looks like I'm gonna need an engine for this Dyt4000. Thanks for watching, guys, and subscribe and like. See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers. Thanks for watching, everybody. Follow me on Instagram at Mowers Blowers. See you guys next time.